Thanks everyone for coming and listening today. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and about Iron Mountain briefly in case you're not familiar. Phil already did a great job at introducing me, so I won't say too much more other than I started in engineering and I got sucked into marketing because I joined marketing at a time when marketing automation was just kind of becoming a thing. Marketing operations was sort of a thing, and marketers were really scared to really roll up their sleeves and get their hands into technology. And I got involved in doing system integrations and Eloqua deployments, and that's how I started. From Iron Mountain, I was with them through their marketing operations globalization journey and system optimizations. And now I'm over here based in London for the last 2 years with the responsibility for regional marketing, which is essentially field marketing, which is very different than marketing operations. But I think those things marry very nicely. And before I go into Iron Mountain, just so I can get a sense of the room, how many people in here are marketing practitioners? Okay. And how many of you are field marketing side of the house? Couple. And how many more marketing operations and tech? Okay, good. We've got a mix. All right, great. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the journey that Iron Mountain went on to get to a place where we really felt like our leadership team was saying WTF in a good way about marketing, as in, what is the future? Because we believe in you, as opposed to WTF. And you can guess what that means. And Iron Mountain is a global organization. We actually operate in 54 countries today. We're a $4.3 billion company, so very, very large organization. The marketing organization today formally supports North America and Western Europe. So that's the journey I'm going to talk about, really applied to these regions, although we definitely have ambitions to take it beyond that. And just a few pieces of information to note. In this region, we do $270 million in net new annual sales. Marketing generates about $54 million of that today. So that's 20% of new sales come from marketing. And for an enterprise organization, for those of you who are in that bigger business, you know that that's not an easy number to attain. And I'll talk about how we did it. So first, let's just kind of lay the groundwork and talk a little bit about the history, because we definitely didn't flip a switch to be able to start driving real impact. And I will say that I think marketing impact is going to be 50% really good marketing and 50% people believing that you're doing really good marketing. I mean your business, because if your business doesn't believe it, they're not going to invest in you. And if they don't invest in you, you can't get better. Right? So I started in 2014, so that's when our journey begins. Although Adam can tell you from personal experience, this has gone on much longer than that. But in 2014, we brought the North America and Western Europe marketing organizations together. They were previously operating independently, and we called it corporate marketing. Everybody was still operating under very different attribution models. We were primarily reporting things like opportunities to see, open rate, click-through rates, and just out of curiosity, because I got to be honest with you, when I was reviewing the deck yesterday and I saw how many people say they still report vanity metrics to their business, I nearly fell out of my chair. So how many people report things like open rates and click-through rates to your business today? We've got one. Okay. I saw a shy hand in the back there. All right. That's okay. We're on a journey, and we'll show you how we got there. We didn't really have a consistent reporting cadence. Trust in marketing, very, very low. Some people didn't even know marketing existed within the organization. So, and that might be better than people just not trusting us at all. And as it relates to impact, we just didn't know. And so people were kind of saying, WTF marketing, right? All right, so a year later, we actually redeployed Eloqua. We had it, but it hadn't been consistently deployed. We redeployed it as one single global marketing automation system integrated with one single global instance of Salesforce.com, which is our CRM. We also launched at this time integrated system requirements. So there was a set of requirements laid forth to everybody in marketing that said, you don't get to bring new technologies on board without funneling it through an approval process. And every single one of those technologies has to integrate in some way with the stack we're building. And we also started to implement campaign reporting through the integration that Eloquent and Salesforce had. At that time, we were using the kind of Salesforce out-of-the-box last touch model. Who's using last touch today? A few people, good amount of people. Okay. We were still kind of reporting on those old vanity metrics, but we started to layer in reporting on opportunities and bookings. We really wanted to start speaking sales language. But we were still having a varied reporting cadence, trust still low, impact still questionable. Still WTF. A year later, we got a new marketing VP. We also implemented a marketing target calculator tool. So David talked about having the ability to look at what is the revenue you're trying to affect in the business and kind of backing up along the funnel to understand, okay, how many opportunities do you need? How many leads do you need? And this should inform upon your marketing campaigns. We rolled out a tool. It was, not super fancy. It was built in Excel, although I built it so I feel like it was fancy. It took a lot of work, I'll tell you. And we started completely changing what we allowed our business partners to see. We stopped talking about things like open rates and click-through rates, and we started talking about only the language they cared about. How many leads are we delivering to sales? How are those converting? How many opportunities are we creating? What is the value of the pipeline? And how many and what value of bookings, real won deals, are we generating? And we started reporting this consistently on a quarterly basis. In fact, we got into the business level QBR cadence, which was simultaneously a blessing and a curse. We were kicking ourselves every single quarter when we had to go in front of them and do this, but it was the right thing to do. And belief in marketing started to grow because we were speaking their language and reporting on things that they perceived as mattering more. And we thought we were starting to get a better sense of what marketing was impacting. Okay? So again, this is when we made the shift away from these vanity metrics. Does that mean we didn't report on them? Absolutely not. We as marketers need to know these things. We need to know how our stuff is doing. The business does not. Close that kimono. And we also at this time really made a very aggressive shift within our marketing organization to be what we called a demand-oriented marketing organization. So in order for us to convince the business that what we did mattered, we had to change the way our marketers thought about the impact they could deliver and hold them accountable to every dollar they spent. And how that resulted in an output. Now, we might have swung a little too far this way because we started to forget about things like impressions and awareness, and we'll talk about how we had to swing back. But at the time, it was the right thing to do. People were still kind of like on marketing. It wasn't totally there, but we were getting there. We are at least allowed to have the conversations. So 2017 comes around and we deployed a new attribution model. One of the things that we had pushback on, the business was like, this is great marketing, you're starting to speak our language, but the actual marketers were like, okay, so the only thing that matters is the last thing that I do. You can guess what kind of behavior that drove, okay? So we needed to rethink this. And so we deployed an attribution model we call marketing contribution. And we chose that word very, very, very carefully because marketing generation had a certain kind of historic worthiness issue, and marketing influence meant something very different to people. So we kind of created a new word, a new term, marketing contribution. I'll talk about that in a minute. And we started reporting consistently on 3 levels: tactical, campaign, and operational. Again, I'll show you how we did that. Reporting cadence became consistent. Trust in marketing was getting there. And the reason trust in marketing wasn't getting there is because we did all these things internally and then let it go. The reason trust in marketing got there is we actually launched an internal marketing campaign to roadshow through the organization to all of our business stakeholders in sales and business leadership, the GMs, and say, this is what marketing does. This is how we measure our impact. It is consistent. It is automated. We can't fake it. And this is how we're delivering a return. And our marketing impact really started to grow as well. So again, this internal campaign mattered a lot. Might sound like a waste of time to marketers. You're like, we want to spend our time marketing to our customer and bringing revenue in. Perception matters within your business. And people were starting to say, hey, marketing is doing stuff. Hurrah. What is the future of marketing? And so in 2018 and beyond, we've been able to really focus on using our data to drive decisions. It's not an easy thing. That is a discipline that people need to have. And it's not easy, but we've been able to get past this and focus there. And we've been working on really measuring and reporting on our impact. So, I mentioned we measure performance on 3 levels. This is consistent. This is the way we present it to every single person in our business. The tactic and channel performance is necessary to inform on marketers so that they can make decisions about what needs to be modified, but only marketing sees this. Okay? If a sales director comes to me and says, I want to see your open rates or I want to see your form conversion rates, I'll be like, why? What are you going to do about it, depending upon what you see? Nothing? Okay, then you don't need to see it. Campaign performance. So this is visible in Salesforce.com. We don't present it out, but it is visible to everyone and anyone who wants to see it and has Salesforce login. The campaign performance is based upon the objective of the campaign. So every campaign has a brief. We define the objective. What is it meant to do? Is it meant to drive new leads? Is it meant to convert people through the funnel? Is it meant to help accelerate pipeline deals? And the measure depends upon the objective. That is defined when the campaign is originated. And if you can't tell me what the objective is and set a measure, I'm going to ask you why you're running that campaign. It goes into Salesforce and the results are there. And finally, there's operational or funnel performance, which is what I'll spend time on today. This is what's purported to the business leaders. Okay, we have a monthly scorecard. We have the quarterly business review. And this is the kind of the line that gets drawn between business and marketing. Okay, so how marketing engagement results in actual revenue or real business impact. So this is our model. Doesn't mean it's the right model, the perfect model, but I'll talk you through it. So people engage in tactics and channels, right? By engaging with these tactics and channels in a measurable way, people become campaign members. This is captured in Eloqua and then passed to Salesforce. Campaign members who end up becoming associated to opportunities result in marketing-generated pipeline. And then marketing-generated pipeline that books becomes marketing-generated bookings. Seems pretty straightforward, right? So the primary operational KPIs that we measure and report to the business are marketing qualified leads, which convert to marketing generated opportunities, aka pipeline, which converts to marketing generated revenue or bookings. And we call this group of things marketing contribution. Makes sense, I hope. Okay, so there are some parameters that have to be put around this. And for us, the parameter is any and all marketing campaign responses which occur within 12 months, 1 year, of opportunity creation date will be measured as total marketing contribution. So let's play that out. People come in as inquiries typically, although they could start with us as MQLs. Okay? They convert to opportunities and bookings. We get that. So when they respond to campaign A and they come into our database originally, that is lead generation, right? That is a lead generation campaign. They respond to campaigns B and C over a period of time, and that is funnel acceleration. They've moved through. By the way, because I went to engineering school, I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to physics, and so to me, acceleration means to move faster, which is what you guys think, or who knows the other definition of acceleration? I'll give you a cookie. Okay, in physics, it can also mean change direction. Okay, so acceleration doesn't just mean move faster, but we want that, but we also want them to change direction, which means to direct their attention on us. Okay, now we also have what we call pipeline acceleration, and this is specifically targeted at individuals who are in pipeline. However, those don't count. towards marketing contribution because we did not contribute to the creation of that pipeline originally. So when we measure marketing contribution, it is any and all campaigns prior to opportunity creation, so long as that interaction occurred within 12 months of that opportunity being created. Okay? I see some of you taking pictures. You are going to get the slides. But feel free to tweet or whatever. Okay, so how does this all get connected? And I kind of alluded to it already. This is our technology stack, and it is not the exhaustive list of our technology stack, but it's kind of the most important ones. So at the center of it all is Eloqua. That is our marketing automation platform. We look at Eloqua as much, much more than something that sends our emails. In fact, we do probably more activity through Eloqua that is not email related than is email related, because of this beautiful thing called GDPR. I'm sorry. It's integrated bidirectionally with Salesforce.com. Salesforce, we've added on a tool called Full Circle Insights, which helps us run that attribution model because Salesforce by itself cannot do that. Okay, Salesforce is a last touch system. Okay, and we abandoned last touch. Now, I heard somebody mention first touch. I won't say who. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. The reason we look at all of it is because we believe, in fact, we know from in our world, it takes an average of 4 campaign interactions prior to a booking. And so we don't want to over-index on the first or the last. We want to look at everything marketing is doing. We receive data from Sitecore, which is our CMS where our websites are hosted. And then we have a whole slew of other integrated applications. I've called out some of the most important ones because data quality matters in this game. So that's why we use Dun & Bradstreet and integrate. Our ability to integrate what we're doing matters. So Brightcove and Zoom are tools that we use to run our webinars and videos in an integrated way back into our systems. Obviously, we drive leads through Google AdWords. There's a whole bunch of other technology. I think right now we're at like 24 integrated pieces of technology into our stack, which probably is not that crazy nowadays. These are the most important ones. Okay. So, as I mentioned, everything that can be integrated and automated is. Okay. So that's all great. That's all important. But how do we actually make impact out of this? Like, how does this inform on good marketing? So the way that we drive impact as marketers is I kind of look at it in these stages. First, we set our annual targets for the full marketing funnel in marketing generated revenue. And then we use that calculator I told you about. We build campaign plans that are based on these targets. It seems like a very obvious next step, but how many people in this room would say that your marketing programs are initiated based upon numbers you're trying to reach for the year? Okay, not a lot. Anybody want to be brave? We got some brave people who say, yeah, we're good, Mark, we're good. I think you probably even subconsciously do this, but we try to bring this to the forefront. We measure and report on performance, and then of course we iterate and optimize because you don't just set it and forget it. So setting annual targets. This is what that crazy calculator tool looks like. I'm not going to pull it up, but you can see that it's kind of looks crazy. And what we do is we look at 3 years of data to look at cost per lead trends, conversion rate trends, average deal size trends, and then investments in and outputs to kind of give us a baseline. And then what we do is we apply assumptions that we're going to get better in the previous years, and then we hone in on what exactly are we going to do better and how are we going to do it. So if I want to throttle more through, my options are what? More volume, better conversion rates, higher average deal sizes. Those are your options, right? So we hone in on what we think we can do, and then we develop campaigns to do those things. Okay? So we also look at how much budget, because if you have more money every year, then you get to do more. How many people get more money every year? Oops, went backwards. We got a couple of hand raisers, and I'm so proud of you guys. We should talk. We should talk.
She got double.
Well, you work in a marketing company. I feel like that's conflict of interest.
You've got to deliver, mate.
Right. Most of us don't. So the factors we can control are cost per lead volume, and conversion rates at the top of the funnel. The factors we can influence, and we think very hard about how we can influence these things, are MQLs converting to opportunities, opportunities bookings, and then the average deal size. Okay? Understanding and knowing the numbers behind every one of these things, whether you can control it or not, is important. Okay, build campaign plans. This is our marketing plan on a page template. There's a couple members of my team in the room, and they are forced by me to populate this, and we review it on a regular basis because I want to know, okay, based upon those numbers, when you take it back into marketing speak, those numbers mean you need to be driving top of funnel. So inbound top of funnel, demand inbound middle of funnel. We got to nurture people through, and you've got to accelerate the pipeline. You got to do all these things. So I want to know, what are you doing? Who are you doing it towards? When is it happening? Is it going to existing customers or new customers? How much is it going to cost? And what are you measuring? Okay, seems reasonable. I hope. Don't answer that, guys. And then we have some guardrails in place. So we know, generally speaking, the types of activities that address these different parts of the funnel that we need to address. So what's important is that we're balanced and that we're focused in the areas that need the most love, right? And that's going to change through year over year, or even within a year, right? You might be killing it on your top of funnel leads and failing horribly at getting those things to convert. So you might need to change course, which is why we also review this regularly. Okay, measure and report. So remember, we said 3 levels of reporting: tactical, campaign, and operational. And these are all things that we do ongoing, but the cadences are a little different. I'm going to fly through these next ones, but you'll get this deck because they all look like this, kind of boring slides. But what I want to show you here is that every report has a purpose, and if you cannot clearly articulate the purpose, who's it for, and what do you want to do with it, don't do it. Okay? You don't want to be stuck in reporting, hell, excuse my language, because, somebody thought it was a good idea to have another report and another report. You have to be using these reports. And I'm going to show you at least one example of when we let something die. We killed it because it was too much. But campaign performance reports, pretty important. These are more for the marketing practitioner so that they can adjust. They're delivered automatically, so nice and easy. Salesforce Dashboards. Every single marketer has a Salesforce Dashboards. Their targets, based upon that beautiful calculator, are loaded up into here so they know how they're performing against targets. Dashboards are not just for salespeople. However, the dashboards are visible by salespeople. So anytime a salesperson asks us the question, what do we say? Go to Salesforce. Go to Salesforce. What campaign did you run? Go to Salesforce. How many leads did you give me? Go to Salesforce. Where's the campaign brief? It's in Salesforce. Okay? And this shows us our operational measures, but in a way that marketing practitioners can take action on a day-to-day basis if they need to. Okay, we have a monthly scorecard. Now this is built manually, and this is actually presented up to the marketing leadership team, so my SVP, every single month, and every director has to be able to defend their scorecard, talk about what's going on, challenges, remediations, etc. And then every marketer gets to see it as well. We have a quarterly CMO dashboard. It was a beautiful dashboard. It was a wonderful idea. It was built in PowerPoint, and it took a full-time person to build it. So we killed it. It was wonderful. I mean, it captured the KPIs of every single function in marketing. It was a wonderful idea. Just couldn't execute it practically. And the use that we got out of it on a regular basis wasn't worth it. So not every report is a good idea. And then the quarterly business review, which is an established format at the business level. We rotate through just like every other function within the business. And this one, the first couple, were painful. There was just no trust in anything we were saying. So it took us like a good year and a half of QBRs to get to a point where people were like, okay, I believe the methodology behind what you're saying. Now we'll just hone in on the numbers and hear what you're doing. And then finally, iterate and optimize. So this is hopefully self-explanatory. Measure what you're doing, make adjustments over time, seek to understand why something is working or not working. Don't just say, well, that didn't work. Now, you really want to understand why, and I'm sure that you all have different SMEs behind you that can help you understand that. Okay, so bringing it back, what I want to hone in here, again, that 20%, this is our marketing impact. It's a pretty big deal to us. If you think about how that breaks down, we're driving in the small business sector, 70%, in the mid-market, about 24%, and 11% in the enterprise. And if you are Serious Decisions subscribers and you see their contribution model reports, we are really in most of our segments, we're within the realm of best in class. And probably, maybe even more importantly, our sales and executive leadership finally understand what we do and believe in it. Last slide, I promise. We're not perfect. There's a lot more we want to do. We still need to find a way to accurately and consistently measure awareness metrics, those pesky things that are really, really hard to tie to actual revenue. We train people within the business so well to believe that everything we do in marketing can be tied to revenue, that when we can't figure out how to do it, they don't want us to do the activity. And that's not good. So now we need to kind of back it up a little. We need to reduce and hopefully, if we can, eliminate our manual reporting. We need to become much more disciplined in reflecting upon what we're doing. That iterate and optimize part, that is a discipline. It is so tempting and easy as marketers to get your campaign out the door and go, okay, on to the next thing, and not step back and reflect. And we need to do less things that are better and give ourselves the time to reflect upon what's working and what's not working. We would love to have all of our tactical lever measures like reportable in one place. How many people have that today? One place, all your tactical measures. Good. Very few people. Yeah, we want that desperately. It's not easy. It's a lot of work to set up. Your tactics and channels change a lot, so it's really laborious to maintain, and it costs a lot of money, let's be honest. And then finally, we really want to deploy all of this scalable, standardized reporting I just talked about globally, because today it's our mature markets. That is it for me.